Well, I have a fabulous word for you today, but first you have to listen to a bunch of amazing words. These were written some time ago by a great author, writer, thinker named Eugene Peterson, and then I want to summarize the challenge for today in just 3 words. But here's what Eugene wrote. The moment we say no to the world and yes to God, all our problems are solved, all our questions are answered, all our troubles are over. Nothing can disturb the tranquility of the soul at peace with God. Nothing can interfere with the blessed assurance that all is well between me and my Savior. Nothing and no one can upset the enjoyable relationship that has been established by my faith in Jesus. We Christians are among that privileged company of persons who don't have accidents, who don't have arguments with our spouses, who are not misunderstood by our peers, whose children do not disobey us. If any of these things should happen, a crushing doubt, a squall of anger, a desperate loneliness, an accident that puts us in the hospital, an argument that puts us in the doghouse, a rebellion that puts us on the defensive, a misunderstanding that puts us in the wrong, it is a sign that something is wrong with our relationship with God. We have, consciously or unconsciously, retracted our yes to God. And God, impatient with our fickle faith, has gone off to take care of someone more deserving of his attention. Is that what you believe? If it is, I have some incredibly good news for you. You are wrong. To be told we are wrong is sometimes an embarrassment, even a humiliation. We want to run and hide and hide our heads in shame. But there are times when finding out that we are wrong is sudden and immediate relief. We can lift up our heads in hope. No longer do we have to keep doggedly trying something that is not working. A few years ago, I was in my backyard with my lawnmower tipped on its side. I was trying to get the blade off so I could sharpen it. I had my biggest wrench attached to the nut, but I could not budge it. I got a 4-foot length of pipe and slipped it over the wrench handle to give me some leverage, and I leaned on that, still unsuccessfully. Next, I took a large rock and banged on the pipe. By this time, I was beginning to get emotionally involved with my lawnmower. Then my neighbor walked over, said he had a lawnmower like mine, and if he remembered correctly, the threads on the bolt went the other way. I reversed my exertions, and sure enough, the nut turned easily. I was glad to find out I was wrong. I was saved from frustration and failure. I would never have gotten the job done, no matter how hard I tried doing it my way. And then he goes on to say, the scriptures, the Psalms, Psalm 121 in particular, is a quiet voice gently and kindly telling us that we are perhaps wrong in the way that we are going about the Christian life. And then, very simply, showing us the right way. I lift up my eye to the hills. Where does my help come from? Now, you might think because hills are such inspiring looking things, that's where my help comes from, but it's not. The help that I need, the strength I must find, is not the generic look for a beautiful sight kind of inspiration, because that does not last long enough. My help comes from the Lord. And the 3 words that I have for us today are these 3. Don't expect easy. When I go through my life today, don't assume that every door will open, that every problem will melt away, that every answer will be given. In fact, we grow far more through our difficulties and pains than we do when we walk from one easy triumph to another. And that is why James says, When all kinds of trials and temptations crowd into your life, don't resent them as intruders. Welcome them as friends. Now, wise followers of Jesus have always understood this. The Apostle Paul said, we do not battle against flesh and blood. That image, put on the whole armor of God. No soldier going into battle says, hey, the other side is shooting at me. I didn't sign up for that. That's part of what it means to be a battle. And there is a glory in the growth that comes for people who do not aspire primarily to the easy life. There's a movie I like quite a lot called The League of Their Own. It actually is about a women's baseball team based on a true story. And if you've ever seen the movie, they are the Rockford Peaches. They played in Rockford, Illinois. My great Aunt Fran actually saved clippings in the Rockford Register Republic about the Rockford Peaches from the 1940s. I read about them in the 70s, way before that movie ever came out. One of the great lines is when the manager in the movie, Tom Hanks, is talking to his best player who's about to quit the team because she says, I didn't know it could be so hard. And he said, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, anybody can do it. The hard is what makes it great. Don't expect easy. And yet I do. I kid you not. I get up in the morning yesterday. I spilled some coffee, not a lot, but then I had to clean it up. Oh, that was awful. And then I realized I'm on the road. I had forgotten a few clothes in a bureau of a place that I stayed at a couple days ago that's several hours away. Some of those clothes, I won't mention what kind they are, but you have to kind of get fresh ones. So I would have to drive 10 minutes into town to get something. It was just what a horrible day. How little it took me to feel inconvenienced and a loss of joy and openness to God. So, today, don't expect easy. Now, the flip side, when we embrace challenge. I was talking to a friend, Jerry, the other day, and she was saying how she had gone through a season of life that was really difficult. She had found herself withdrawing more from people and feeling increasingly depressed. She went to a women's retreat, and she was dreading that because then you got to be around a bunch of people. But the speaker said something that touched a chord that was already at work inside her. The speaker said, find something in your life that doesn't glorify God and fast from it for 30 days. And my friend realized that part of what had been involved in withdrawal and even just a process of depression for her is she had been watching television as kind of an escape a lot. And when we're depressed, it's easy to do that. Folks that work with depression talk about the power of what they call behavioral activation. Take a step in the direction of doing something that is right and good. And so that's what she did. She said, I'm going to fast from watching TV for 30 days. That was 1.5 years ago. And she said it changed her life. And in the morning, instead of doing that, in the recovery group, they'll often talk about people, places, and things. I get attached to people, places, and things that get me stuck, get me addicted, move me towards an idol. And instead of that, find some new people, places, and things that move you in the right direction. So she goes outside every morning first thing. Kind of cool. She said when it's cold, she'll be outside in her sleeping bag with mufflers on, but there with the birds and the trees and God. Don't expect easy today. When something hard comes along, when you spill the coffee, when you get an interruption, when you get a difficult email, when you get bad news at work, when you don't look the way that you want to, when somebody else doesn't look at you the way that you want them to, instead of falling, don't expect easy. Don't expect the easy life. What we want to enter into is what Dallas talks about in the renovation of the heart as the way of Jesus, the easy yoke. Dallas has a wonderful quote from John Wesley where Wesley says he wants to move people into the easy way, which is not easy in terms of circumstance. It's easy in releasing my circumstances to God and recognizing that nothing can get in the way of His love for me. today as you walk through the day. Look for those moments that are inconvenient, nettlesome, troublesome, irritating, and instead of being nettled and irritated and troubled, God, thank you. I welcome you, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's the hard that makes it great. It's not the easy life. It's the easy yoke. That's our day. See you next time.